And do you keep the fan going?
That's, yes.
Well, it's no problem on the tape to have it go. Okay, all right.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Actually, which fan is on?
Back, hear it?
That's been on the whole time, right?
Yes.
And it's no problem
Yeah, it's
on the
fine.
sound? Okay,
It's very, very low.
okay.
Speed it.
Well, Helen, now that we have all our technical
Yes.
conversation out of the way, I must tell you how much I enjoyed your performance.
Thank you.
Really.
I'm only now starting to hear what people think, and I'm really glad you liked it.
I liked your character. I liked the way you present your character. I like very much the rapport that you have with your chimp,
Good.
Virgil. Yes.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, it's really neat. But of course, I'm wondering, before you got into this picture and you thought about working with the chimps, were you kind of apprehensive about that?
No, actors are stupid. I mean, luckily this turned out to be great, but I haven't spoken to an actor yet who thought about the technical. You just sort of leap in with your heart and go, I want to do this movie because it would be so wonderful, and getting to work with chimps, and you don't stop to think that it's going to take 14 weeks and a lot of patience. And we got to our first rehearsal, and Jonathan sort of warned us, this is going to be a very difficult movie to make. It's going to take forever. It didn't feel like that. It felt like we were lucky to be there. We all felt that way. Just that we were lucky to be in on this very unique experience.
When you, say you and Matthew and all of you get together a year or two from now and you start remembering chimp stories, what will be your favorite chimp story?
Well, used to have a good, it's not a specific story, but one of the favorite things I used to do, I mean, during lunchtime we'd be in that set for hours at a time, and I would just want to get out, and I had them give me a bicycle with a little baby seat in the back, and I would put Willie in there, and we would go riding around the lot, you know, and you'd see people. There's a girl with a chimpanzee on the back of her bike. They were just really fun to be around. Getting groomed, that was good. Getting groomed. Oko, who plays Goofy, you remember Goofy?
Yes.
Loved to groom people. And so you'd sort of come in the morning and he'd be sort of checking you out. And, you know, it was fun.
Were they ever unpleasant to be around?
No. I mean, no more so than we are. They're not always like entertaining, you know. A lot of times it was just the work at hand. Now I walk from here to here, now I say apple, you know. I mean, it was work. But for the most part, it was in fact the opposite. You know, as the crew and the cast could be like, it's 10 o'clock, we've been here since 9, and then we'd open our eyes and there was Willie, you know, eating a raisin with twirling it around in his teeth, and you go, what's such a big deal? There's this wonderful animal there that's all we have to do is look, you know.
Was Virgil always the same chimp?
Yeah. In fact, originally, Virgil was going to be played by a chimp called Arthur, who was very sort of funny and devilish and caused trouble all the time, and then they put him in front of the camera and he started like picking his lips or something, and they got him off and put Willie in, and Willie turned out to be Virgil. I mean, he's very soft and sort of soulful and trusting, and I think that lent itself to the movie. And people don't realize it, but if it had been a different chimp, it would have been a different movie. Just as if Matthew hadn't played Jimmy, it would have been a different movie. It absolutely would have had a different quality to the film if it had been a different animal.
Was it confusing for the chimp, whose real name is Willie, to have to respond to Virgil?
I think, I thought about it last night as I was watching the movie. They could have given the names. He could have been called Willie, but I think that was on purpose because basically the trainer and the chimp have a very strong relationship. Chimps in the wild have an alpha male who is sort of the boss, and that's what the trainer was to the chimp. I became friendly with the chimp, but we always knew that Daddy was the trainer, and if I had been calling him by his real name and the trainer had, it might have been confusing, you know.
Were there ever times when the chimps did anything like bite you?
No, thank God. I mean, we finished the movie and we thought, we've done a good job here, however this movie turns out. To make a movie with this much work with wild animals and the fact that no one got hurt or bitten was really, we felt like we'd accomplished something.
Were there any health precautions that had to be taken either for the safety of the animals or the safety
of the animals? I had to have blood taken before the movie, and I said, why are we doing this? Well, we don't want anybody infecting the chimps. That sort of set the tone for the movie.
Got the priorities.
That's right. As long as we're all clear right now, who's in charge?
Are you a great animal lover yourself?
Yeah, I have in fact, I grew up with a dog, and I was going to get a dog recently, and I realized that after making this movie, it was difficult because sometimes my heart goes out to animals in a way that it's almost too much. It almost doesn't help them because I just get so lost. If they're sorry that I don't leave, I don't want to leave. I mean, I get almost too connected, and this was a wonderful way to spend time with animals and get to really, to get to communicate with them. It was a dream come true.
Would you have to do a lot more takes working with the animals?
No. In fact, what was important was that the crew and that Matthew and I got it together right away, because the chimps were better on the first take or the second take than they were later on, because they had done it already, and would become sort of mechanical for them. Whereas in the beginning, sometimes Jonathan would introduce a new element to sort of keep the chimp on his toes. He'd bring in a different trainer to call his name, or just shake things up a little so that the chimp would be alive, and interested in what was going on.
Were there any rules, contractually or otherwise, that said chimps can only work so many hours?
No, we all were sort of briefed before we started the movie, though, about what the do's and don'ts were. For example, you don't run up to another crew member and give him a big hug in front of the chimp, because maybe the chimp likes that other crew member and feels that you're being aggressive. I mean, there's a whole level of awareness that you never think of, especially while you're trying to make a movie, that we all had to have.
Well, Helen, again, I enjoyed your performance a lot,
Thanks
and
very much.
I'm glad to have had this chance to talk with you.
Thanks.
And I'll be looking forward to more movies and perhaps more interviews with you.
Thank you very much. It was nice to meet you.
Thanks. Nice interview. Very nice
Good.
interview. Where is your home originally?
I was born here,
Stop tape,
and
please,
then
Okay, we'll be doing sound. Yeah.
Okay, quiet please everybody.
Years from now, when you all get together, Helen, what will be your favorite chimp story? Would you have to do more takes working with the chimps? Was it confusing here? The chimp is really named Willie, but in the movie he's named Virgil. Was it confusing for the animal? Were there do's and don'ts in being around the animals? Are you yourself an animal lover? Okay, I'll give you some reactions. Okay, thank you.